After the release of the Grand Exchange, merchanting clans became prevalent throughout RuneScape. Merchanting clans were pretty much like organized pump and dump schemes in RuneScape. The clan leader and an inside circle of their friends would decide on an item to merch, which the merch would just be buying an item and buying it at the max GE price, which back then you only could buy things for 5% above or below the median price. This ensured that the supply would be bought out every day, and that the price would inevitably keep going up by huge amounts. And they would have a set sell price, such as like silver bar 1k, and maybe silver bars were 200-300 GP each to start, and everyone's buying out the supply, so players who are trying to buy silver bars to use in the game could not actually buy them, so the demand was way higher than it normally would be. There's no items in the ecosystem, so the price keeps going up and up and up until inevitably they call a dump. Now these dumps were supposed to be public information, everyone was supposed to be in on the dump and sold everything on the same day, which logically that doesn't make any sense, because if everyone's selling at the same time, the price is just going to go down. Like a pump and dump scheme, if everyone's selling, the people buying at the seller, the prices just keep going to go down and down and down. But the people at the top, and probably the most famous of them all, Chessie018, made billions upon billions of GP, and this is back when gold was worth a pretty fair amount in real life. And even if it wasn't worth a lot in real life, if you had billions of GP, you were among the top elite players. If you made videos even like she did back in the day, and as you can see on the screen, her video quality was not good, and she still had tens of thousands of subs, and everyone knew who she was. Since she had this following on YouTube and even trying to grow a following outside of YouTube, people knew who she was and they trusted her and what she had to say. And this happened with a lot of the other clans too, like Smoking Mills. Like the people would see these videos that other creators would make and they would trust what people are saying. It's not much different than now when people make these crypto bro videos about cryptocurrencies that make no sense. The YouTube videos and influencers kind of give this air of legitimacy to these clans or to these products, and so that people, and back in the day these people were kids, assume that these are truth-telling people, when in reality they're just trying to line their pockets, even if it is with just RuneScape gold. But let's be honest, a lot of these people were real world trading. I found it funny when I was researching this video, the amount of videos out there of people just making fluff pieces for their merchant clans was pretty funny. They would interview people and have these little scenarios where they'd ask them like, oh, how did you start out? They'd be like, I was poor, I had 10k, and then I joined Make Good Money Clan, and after 1 month on Good Make Money Clan, I have 30 mil, and they trade them, and they have like their dragon plate legs and their obsidian cape and a whip and a fury, all stuff that you can only buy, nothing that's actually earned through playing the game. And it's like, there's a lot of those videos out there, and they're all pretty poor, and they all have such great music for the time. If you want to trip down memory lane, go on YouTube, type in RuneScape Merch Clan, and type like 2008 after it, and just make sure you watch a video from like 14-15 years ago. Now, if you didn't know, all of these merchanting clans were a scam. Unless you were in a group with people you actually knew, 9 times out of 10 you were going to be scammed. And the best video I found was a guy recording himself being scammed, and that's what we're going to watch now. The premise of the video is reviewing merged clans. So this clan was called First Merch. Their goal was to get gold ore to 2k. And you can see there's a pretty decent amount of people in there. The clan setup looks still like what it does today. The policy, do not dump it early. This was to ensure that people wouldn't sell early and ruin the merch for the higher up. So this guy's only buying 3,700 for 2.5 mil, and as you can see, he only can do 5 or 10% above or 5% above or below the mid price. And he's keeping tracks. On the first day went up 30 GP, second day went up 3 GP, and then the third day is when they dumped early, and he lost 77k. But he says apparently a rank in the first merch called dump. So whoever is in the clan called dump. And I remember a few times I tried these clans out, which was just kind of observing how things were working. And I was like, this every single time rank called dump when no one was on, which wasn't true. They were all dumping a day or two before. And so the guy ends up selling his stuff, and even though it didn't reach that 2k amount, he had to sell it. And it went back in the day, you couldn't just put it in for 1 GP and it would all sell to the lowest. You'd have to put it in for the minimum, and people wouldn't buy it for the minimum because that wouldn't be what the price was. So you had to junk sell it sometimes on the street. So you would have to go find somebody who is selling items that don't even move on the GE. And there's the graph. As you can see, they They pumped it all the way up from about 450 to 700, and yeah, unfortunately, this one guy lost 307K. So someone made at least 307K off this guy's back on a pump and dump scheme. And nowadays, when I do flipping, I'm at least not making money off of people's pump and dump schemes, but I'm making money off of people's impatience. But this video was by far my favorite one I found when I was doing the research for this. And he gave, you know, even though he lost 300K, he gave it 3 out of 5 stars. 1 star for every 100,000 GP he lost. So that's pretty good. Not too bad there. Now, this isn't any new information coming to light. People even 14 years ago knew these were scams. I even knew years ago these were scams. I'd had friends that were trying to do it, and I would tell them, like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, if you're going to get into a clan like that, you're going to have to find out, hopefully, on day 1 or 2 after everyone else finds out, everyone else being the higher ups, about what happened to the price or what the item was, and then you're gonna try to sell and guess to sell 2 or 3 days before they sell. So you would have to be playing a guessing game, and if you got lucky playing that guessing game, you could make some good money. But if you were on the other end like that guy was, you could lose out on hundreds of K or mills upon mills. People probably quit the game because of these merchant clans pumping and dumping them. The energy behind these old merchant clans and these merchant clan videos really reminds me of the crypto bro and the guru selling scene that has infected the minds of some of the people today and some of the online scene today. Like people I'm talking like Andrew Tate, Aiden Ross, and many other people like that, that if you look up to those people, please try to find someone else to look up to. Back when these clans were really prevalent, they really did prey on the young minds of people, and also the new territory that the Grand Exchange opened up. It opened up the trading avenues for many different items that weren't moving before. You'd have to stand in World 2 Falador spamming, or in Sears Village spamming your heart out just to sell. Now you could pump them up to whatever you wanted to, really, with enough people behind it, and you could just make hundreds and hundreds of mills. I bet those top, I mean, just look at that Chessie video I showed. She had 1,000 Santa hats, and they were 29 mil each. That just is absolutely insane. The amount of wealth that she possessed was out of this world, and the amount of rare she possessed, which those are all finite. There's only a certain amount of Santas and all that, so think of those as like NFTs without the fancy numbers behind them. It was kind of crazy how RuneScape had that same community building back then as like the crypto scene today, but on the backs of kids. Which I guess today it's pretty much the backs of kids too, but those kids just grew up and they have money now. If there's one lesson I can take away from playing RuneScape for all these years, it is I can smell a scam from a mile away. I say so boldly while I'm probably currently getting scammed in some aspect of my life. Merchant clans were always fascinating to me back in the day, and they're still fascinating to me now, even though it's been about 15 years. So if you like this video, leave a like, subscribe for more. I'm Jeff, and I'll see you next time.